What's up? This is Henry with the band Sangre, and you're listening to Brutally Delicious Podcast. Brutally Delicious!
Hey, thanks for listening to the Thanks for listening.
Bruce,
We're
starting
we're over
the podcast.
before we started. Yeah,
we're starting the podcast. We're not ending it.
It's been a long day. Welcome to the Brutally Delicious Podcast. I'm Bruce,
and my name is Chris. you may know me from such podcasts as the Brutally Delicious Podcast, episode 15, right. Also episode 17. There was one I missed though because I was too hungover, and I don't know what number that was. But either way,
you did miscloak. That's right, because you were hungover.
Yeah,
and you were in the hospital for some urethral sounding gone bad. But now you're back.
I had a throat gonorrhea infection. It was really bad.
It was a urethral sounding mishap, but everything is good now, and we're back. So today we've got Henry Sanchez from Sangre, a super heavy band. I think all our bangers out there are gonna love it.
Well, I still think we got to do the Beavis and Butthead thing, where we listen to a metal track in headphones and we don't talk to each other, and we just record our reactions.
Just record them without knowing
what each other's saying. This is where their headbanging part is. Oh, fuck.
That's funny. All right, I'm going to try and get them on Facebook here. If it doesn't work, I don't know. Dude, your boy is still sending messages. That is cracking me up. Henry, let's try and look him up here. Henry Sanchez.
Oh, I started this podcast to educate myself about metal. And so far, I'm learning about ass to mouth. I'm learning about urethral sounding, the hot Carl. How to make cashiers uncomfortable with fucking baby oil and condoms.
Yeah.
Give me 1 minute. Let me get out of the restroom.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You don't want to know. You don't want to see this.
What a way to get on a...
So Skype said he was unreachable. Now I know why.
Yeah.
I was waiting by the computer for it. Nothing was working, so I decided to come and handle some business real quick.
Yeah, take the Browns to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. I don't know where the Browns are going.
God.
I thought they looked promising. I don't know if the Browns are going to make it this year.
I don't know.
Oh boy.
Well, we've seen it all on here now.
It's.
Good morning.
We had the one with Russ though, where he came out in his bath towel.
Oh, he did commit a bath towel and his hair in a bun or some shit. So at any rate, Henry, meet Chris. Chris, Henry.
Nice
to
meet you, man.
I'm going.
Good. I hope you got a full wipe in.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the water though. That's my problem.
In there.
I didn't hear any water though. That's my issue.
I muted it real quick.
All right. So we're all good.
I'm going to be a little respectful.
Thank you.
So Henry, for those not familiar with Sangre, can you just give us a little bit of? I know we were trying to describe you a little bit ago, and super heavy as fuck and brutal. But can you give us, in your own words, how would you describe Sangre?
We get that a lot because we are heavy, but we also do incorporate a lot of melody at times. And people have always asked us, "What do you classify you guys as? Are you guys metalcore? Are you this? You that?" And I always tell them we're metal because we kind of have influences from everything. We're a little bit of everything. We like to mix it all up and see what comes out of it. And I don't know. I would say like aggressive melodic metal, man. I don't really know how to. It's really been hard to describe it to a T. We just have a lot of influences and inspirations that have combined to make what we have. Kind of a throwback. We got like the throwback to the groove metal. We have a lot of groove in our music.
Yeah.
But also very heavy at times, blast beats and screaming. But also I can bring it down and we can sing and we can jazz it up a little bit and stuff. And I don't know, it's a pretty. I think we're pretty diverse overall.
And you're not new at this. I mean, you guys have been doing this for what, like 10 or 15 years, right?
20
years. So I stand corrected. Did you ever imagine you'd still be out there playing this kind of aggressive stuff?
I've always wanted to. I always dreamed of doing it, for that long, doing the things that we're accomplishing now. It's been a long road, of course.
Sure.
But, we started off, playing backyards and stuff. It was one of those things. We are a DIY band. We're not a band that just popped up and had money to throw into it. Our family had money to give us. I see a lot of those kids in Hollywood. Their family has money just to fucking throw into their, here you go, here's your band, son. Here's your trailer and your van.
Right.
And, I get it. They want to keep their kids on a positive track, keep them away from gangs and drugs or whatever. But us, we worked from the ground up. We started a band. We played in the backyards for a couple of years, played all the local dive bars, and then made our way into Hollywood. That's where it's all at. The magic's at. And,
For those of you that didn't see his eye roll, that was beautiful.
The beautiful people, right? Now, but from there, and just kept playing and hitting every bar and club across the country, and eventually made our way into Mexico, into the motherland, and played some shows out there, and then got the opportunity to play Bloodstock in the UK last 2018.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And then this past May, we just did a full European tour. Well, most of Europe, I don't say full, but Western Europe, the UK again, France, Belgium, Germany, Italy, Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, like pretty good stretch.
That must have been fun.
Yeah, it was great, and it was just like, even though, we're not some huge band, we've always progressed forward. We always move forward, and it's like baby steps, but I always look at it this way, like at least we're moving forward. I've seen so many bands come and go over the years that never left the local bar scene. And I mean, some really good bands. There's bands that are a lot better than our band out there, but they just don't have the motivation or the direction to actually make anything happen. They have great talent. There's a lot of talent there. There's always a lot of talent, but you need that extra drive and you need a little bit of luck. And, it's just that's what's been on our side is we've always been motivated to like keep pushing forward and keep creating and evolving and trying new things. We're not afraid to like step outside the box and push our own envelopes. Yeah.
I had a manager and his saying used to be, talent doesn't sign contracts.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And talent doesn't talent doesn't book gigs. Only hard work does all of those things. Really good manager,
unless you have a really good manager that can do all that for you, and you're just sitting back and just being the talent. Which it does happen. It happens too. You see that in Hollywood as well. A lot of guys who just have talent, and they have someone who sees a vision. All the pretty boys, We're not the pretty boys.
I don't fall into that category. I fall into fat old white guy. No one wants to sign me.
Actually, that's my Instagram handle, old fat metal guy.
Yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
That's totally me.
I'm a big fan of the DIY. I worked with Joey Keithley from DOA. I don't know if you know the band DOA. They are they're from the name. They're from Vancouver, but they're pretty big North America wise.
Okay.
They're like a punk band, but they really followed the DIY stuff, and they're quite like they play festivals all over the world doing it. And his whole theory was, why do I want a record label? I don't need it. And he
they're going to take some of your money.
Yeah, and he just worked his ass off until the point, he's doing like 30th anniversary tours, and it was all done by him and the band. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much how I've done it all these years. Basically acting like as the manager.
Yeah.
I had a guy, Sean Ahos, who basically taught me how to be a manager. He went to UCLA and he got some degrees in like business management and stuff like that, and kind of like showed me the way. He was like my Yoda, and look at who you are. He was like trying to get you to, show me, put me on that path. And I just took it and ran with it. I've always been a very DIY guy too. I mean, I've had a job since I was 9 years old at delivering newspapers. Started out delivering newspapers and always just kind of was on the grind since I was a kid. All right,
I got to interrupt you for a second. Sorry, we do that here. We're kind of rude and obnoxious.
We're
I used to cover your podcast already. So
when you were delivering newspapers, did you go around collecting, like at the end of the day, with the little book, or was it?
I think I did it every week or every once a month. Either once a month or once a week. I would go around.
Now it's all now it's all done online. But I remember the days you'd knock on the door and go, "Hey, collecting," and then they'd give you that, and then like a tip or something, right?
Yeah, I get candies and sodas.
Yeah.
I had a lot of old ladies on my routes. A lot of old ladies that would just come out and give me a little bag of like hard candy and like, "Oh, here you go, sweetie," and it was cool, man. I mean, it made me who I am today. I think doing that, being out there, seeing like, I mean, my mom wasn't. It was a single mother household. She didn't really have a lot of money. She worked her ass off to raise us, but there was things I wanted. I didn't want to wear the Payless shoes.
Right, you got to get out there and get them.
Yeah, I wanted a Nintendo, and she couldn't afford to give me a Nintendo, and I was like, shit, well, what am I going to do? I got a newspaper out, and all my money went to my Nintendo, my wrestling figures. I love wrestling. I still love wrestling.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Favorite wrestler of all time?
Sure.
It's hard, man. It's hard. I mean, I'd have to say like a top 5. Okay. Flair's there because he's one of the best of all time. He's the best of all time, probably. Taker, because Taker's iconic. I loved Taker growing up. Bret Hart was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up too. Just his technical skills and just his attitude. This one's kind of a wild one, but Sid Vicious. I love Sid Vicious. This big guy who just came and kicked ass. I mean, he was a little sloppy at times and a little psycho. That's the word. But he was badass. And then from there, I think modern era, you got to look at like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, that guy. Right. Too bad he had his neck broken. He could have probably even been bigger than he is. I mean, he actually became more iconic not wrestling because of all his catchphrases and all that stuff. Yeah.
So the only reason I asked that, I know we're going down a weird rabbit hole. All right, go ahead.
I got a story for you. So Bret Hart.
I have one too. So
Bret Hart is a Canadian, Alberta, more specifically, which is where I was born and used to live before I moved to Virginia. And I lived in a frickin' small ass town of 5,000 people.
Canada's beautiful. I love Canada.
Yeah. I lived in a small ass town, 5,000 people, and there was a wrestling company in Canada called Stampede Wrestling. And
Stampede Champions Wrestling. Wasn't that Stu Hart's?
What's that?
Wasn't that Stu Hart's Federation movement originally, or no?
I don't know, but I saw Bret Hart in a high school gym wrestle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Before
I believe that was Bret's dad's thing before back in the day.
It might have been, but I saw him in a high school gym with like 300 people. That's great. It was crazy. And then like years later, he's like with the WWF, which is now the WWE or whatever. Yeah. But it was like he was like miles ahead of everyone else that was there. He was like doing backflips off the rope, and it was nuts. Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to tell my story because you rudely interrupted me. The reason I asked is because I have super fond memories of growing up in the same house as my grandparents. My grandfather lived upstairs, and he used to watch that stuff on UHF when it was in black and white. And you could hear him laughing a mile away. But his favorite wrestler was Mr. Fuji. Remember that guy?
Oh, yeah. Became a manager.
Yeah.
He did Demolition and a bunch of other groups.
But his thing was like, I know this has nothing to do with Sangre, so I'm sorry. But he used to like reach into his his waistband and throw salt into people's eyes and then kick their ass.
Yeah. That was his thing. Well, we used to throw tortillas off the stage.
Oh, really?
Let's have a segue.
Wow.
That's a segue.
Tortillas off the stage.
I don't know. We got the idea one time to like just get these. We're like thinking of this fan interaction stuff, and we get these little corn tortillas, and we had a stencil that said Sangre, and we spray paint the tortillas, and we played Rockstar Mayhem Festival 2010. We're opening for the Jägermeister station. We used to be a sponsored band by Jägermeister back when Jägermeister used to sponsor bands. We played the Jägermeister stage opening up for like Hatebreed, Chimera, Shadows Fall, and the headliner was Korn, I think Rob Zombie and Lamb of God. So anyways, we go out there and we're like, let's make this memorable, and we just like started chucking. We had some friends on stage with us too. We started just like, basically like frisbeeing tortillas out into the crowd.
Nice.
And to this day, I'll meet someone randomly somewhere and be like, hey, you're in that band, right? Sangre? Yeah. Dude, I remember those tortillas.
Nice.
And I'm like, that was the stupidest shit. It was like one of the stupidest things we ever did. It was just like a funny thing to do, and like people remember us for it. And it's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But
now were the tortillas raw or cooked?
Oh no, raw. But people would eat them.
All stenciled.
I see guys picking them up out of the air and fucking munching on them. And I'm like,
nice.
This is the second food off the stage story.
Today, we just did an interview with I don't even remember who it was, about an hour ago, an hour and a half ago, and they were throwing peanut butter sandwiches with no jelly off the stage.
Oh God! You'd be all cotton mouth, like trying to eat those things.
Yeah.
His rationalization was that they were doing it so you wouldn't get too drunk; it would absorb the alcohol. But I still think. But they also made them on stage. That was the other thing. They were like, in the middle of the song, they were making peanut butter sandwiches and throwing them out into the audience. You can't make this shit up, man.
We started getting fans telling us, you should do full-on burritos, man. You should bring your own meat and make burritos on stage. I'm like, dude, just because I'm Mexican, I've got to make burritos for you too?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not comfortable with the whole I'm Mexican, I got to make burritos and stuff. But that's funny.
I mean, come on now. 2019, you're triggering me, man. Calm down. I want to pull a race card real quick. Hey, but let me tell you another. Okay, this is kind of similar. I don't want to go into race, but it's funny.
Whatever. We don't care.
Okay, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Florida. Have you been to Florida?
Oh yeah,
I lived in St. Pete for a bunch of years.
Okay, we played in Jacksonville, Gainesville, a few places out there, and we felt so much racism. But it wasn't like negative. It was like, this is just the way they talk. And we pulled up at a venue in Gainesville. I can't remember the name of the place. But we pulled up early. Got there earlier in the day, and we had our van and our trailer. And we're sitting around waiting, and these guys are looking at us. They're like, what's going on? We're like, oh, we're waiting for the show to open, this venue to open. We're like, oh, we thought you guys were the gardeners.
Oh, shit.
No. They're like, we saw the trailer. We figured there was like lawnmowers in there. It's like,
nice.
That's
okay.
fucking brutal, man.
Welcome to Florida, brother.
I've only ever been to South Florida, like Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
I've never been to other parts of Florida, but I hear everyone always tells me, don't go to Florida. I never understand why, but
I lived in St. Pete, and it was beautiful, and it was fine, and I'm sure you find assholes everywhere, but.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, that wasn't even an asshole. I think they were, like I said, just being honest. I don't feel like I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm so pissed off. These guys are racist, because I'm Mexican. I must be mowing a lawn. It was just more of a like. It was just funny.
Yeah.
Like,
you don't strike me as somebody who's one of these oversensitive guys anyway. So.
No.
I'm thinking you could roll with it.
I can watch chick flicks and cry. That's oversensitive, but not.
Sure. Right.
You know what? My girlfriend, my wife made me watch Dirty Dancing for the first time in my life the other day.
Oh wow!
Wait a second. How could you watch that 40 years after it's been out?
Because I refused to watch it, and she's like, "You've never watched it? Oh my God!" So she made me pay to rent the stupid thing, and and now I can't stop quoting the damn movie.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I know. I say that all the time.
There we go.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but yeah, I've seen it. Oh, wow.
Sorry, Henry. This thing goes.
Titanic in its entirety. I will not watch that movie in its entirety. Titanic.
I've seen it.
Not for me. I watched it, I think, once when I was a kid, like when it first came out, and I just was like, what the fuck is this? And I just know.
So, are you not watching it because you don't like the movie or because you're afraid you're going to bawl by the end? Sorry, I don't want to put the brutal.
I might admit to liking it. I might admit to liking it and then hate myself afterwards. I don't know.
Right.
When it came out, I went with the girl, and I was really just trying to, get with the girl.
Putting the popcorn over your crotch area, like
there we
popcorn.
go.
Extra
oh my
in there
God!
for you.
They forgot to put popcorn in this bag. I did not say that. It's 2019.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hashtag me too. Careful.
Right. Be careful of everything. Henry, I'm sorry. This podcast is like all over the place, but
this is
get back on track.
We always tell people this is a podcast that's kind of like Howard Stern meets Seinfeld. And it's more
about nothing.
It's about nothing, and we're a bit crazy. But it's a way for people to get to know the band so that they have a deeper connection with the artist than just like the average, like, what does your name mean? What's your favorite song? Where you're...
Yeah, I just feel that I've got like 3 interviews where I had to answer those questions. And then it's like, sitting around like Peter, like,
Yeah. We've been doing this a while, and we got tired of asking them. So I know you get tired of answering them. So we just try and be funny and
kind of like be creative. Come on, give me something creative,
Yeah, we just try and be funny and ridiculous, and in the same token, people get a chance to learn about you, or whatever. So Thanks for putting up with us. But so what are you guys working on now? You guys got anything new coming out?
We actually have a new album coming out December 13th.
Oh, wow.
It's been done for a minute, but we kind of pushed it back, just trying to get everything finalized. And now we're working with Tag Publicity. That's our PR firm. Right. We were kind of trying to figure that out too, which way we're going to go with it. 'Cause we've released stuff on our own in the past, and it feels like it comes out the gate swinging and it's good. Then like your stretch is only so far. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, social media, YouTube, it only goes so far. The algorithms aren't really in our favor, so like it's hard to like even get your name out there. So like, you know what? Let's try a different approach. Let's hire a publicist, someone that can put it out there a little further and see what we can do with it. And so far, we get a lot of reviews. We dropped a video called Death March. Mm-hmm. We dropped that the 16th. I don't remember exactly the day. We just dropped it recently. It's on our YouTube channel right now, Sangre Official. But it's called Death March, and it's a song about it's about basically life. You're living your life, working your ass off, and you're kind of just surviving. Especially in this day and age where things are so expensive, the cost of living versus living wages. Oh, yeah. And there's actually a phenomenon in Japan where people are killing themselves and dying from overworking, exhaustion, overworking, depression, fatigue. And it's nuts because I do see that here too. I mean, I don't see the death rate with it, but you're seeing people just. I mean, myself personally, I feel it. There's times where I'm going, dude, I've been working my ass off, and at the end of the day, you pay your bills and you're still kind of behind, and you're still. I have 3 kids, I have 3 daughters, and it's like, girls aren't cheap. And, it's like one of those things where like, I can go on tour and come back with some money and that money goes quick. And then working a regular 9 to 5 job. I mean, I'm blessed to be able to do that. So it's great to be able to go out and play music and get paid for it. But I mean, it's still not making, we're not Metallica. We're not, making millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's hard. I know a lot of people face it. So that video the song was about that. And then the video we shot, the guy who was producing it wanted to hire actors and this and that. And I was like, you know what, let's do it ourselves. He's like, what? I was like, not that we're just trying to cut costs, which we were, but at the same time, why not do it ourselves? Like, I've always been into acting. I was in like choir and like theater stuff back when I was younger. And I've always been an aspiring musician and actor. I was like, let's just do it. It'll be fun. And basically the 4 of us are in different settings. One guy's like stressed out and he's just drinking his sorrows away and looking at his overdue bills. The other guy's in the bathroom with a loading a gun, like looking in the mirror at himself, like just depressed. The other guy's outside sweeping, and then I come up as the boss in the suit and tie, and I'm yelling at him about, you're doing a shitty job. Then I kick over his trash can, and then like at the end of the video, though, the big reveal is, okay, they're all depressed. I'm the asshole, but then I go sit in my car as I'm getting ready to leave, and then I pull out my eviction notice. And it's kind of like, oh shit, okay, well that guy. It's kind of show you that no matter what position you're in life, like everyone's got their issues, everyone's struggling, and especially if you're not that 1%, everybody's struggling. So I don't know. I think it was a very well thought out song and video, and I enjoy it, and people seem to like it. So we're getting a lot of views on that. But the album will be out December 13th. It's called Más Fuerte que la Muerte, which in Spanish means stronger than death. And I think the theory behind that is when we started writing this album, it was like, let's make a cohesive album. Everything we've done in the past kind of always been like we have this song, we have that song, we're going to put them together on an album. Or we wrote this song 3 years ago, but we still like it. And we wrote this song the other day, we're just going to put them together. And this time we said, no, we're going to sit down and we're going to write this album out as one. We want to, it's going to be different. Every song has its own identity, but we want it to all be cohesive. So every song in this album pretty much deals with death. And not in a negative way, but just it's part of life. We're all going to die. Everybody dies, whether it's from drug addiction, which is a song called Pharmacon, which is about the opioid crisis and pharmaceutical drugs. Death March, which is, the living thing. And there's a song called 43. It's all in Spanish. And that song is about 43 students who were mysteriously vanished. They were protesting the government, and they mysteriously vanished. Now they're finding up these mass graves in Mexico and find out it's a government conspiracy. Wow. And so everything we wrote about was about death, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like, yes, but we're here to leave a legacy. We're stronger than death. Because no matter, we're all going to die, but we're stronger than death because we can create music, we can create memories, we can create all these things that are going to live on past our deaths. So to me, I feel like we may die one day, our body dies, but our legacy lives on. What we've created lives on. People can listen to these songs 50 years down the road when I'm dead and buried or something.
And they'll still be relevant.
Yeah, and it'll still be relevant because it's life. We're not just writing about not knocking on Dio because I love Dio, but not singing about dragons and wizards and the rainbows. But this is like reality. And some people like it, some people don't. Some people aren't into the reality thing. They want to escape reality. So I get it.
Wait, but, dragons and rainbows are not real?
I mean, if you take LSD, drop a couple tabs, they're really fucking real.
I really liked what you just said. And when you first answered the call on the toilet, I did not expect this interview to go there.
We were all taking fun jokes. Yeah. So this song right here is about taking a big shit. Yeah. And this song right here is about I ran out of toilet paper, so I had to use the cat.
This is a real cohesive album sponsored by Imodium.
Right. So one more before we get to the fun part. You guys taking this out on the road?
This is fun.
Oh yeah, it's fun. But we're about to go down. We're about to go down a whole nother rabbit hole in a minute. But are you guys taking this out on the road?
Oh yeah, we don't have anything booked yet because we just did the European thing. We just wanted to to set our ducks in a row and get this all hammered out. That's why we said, okay, let's give ourselves 3-4 months down the road to release the album. And in the meantime, we can release this video. We can release a single. That song is also on all streaming services: iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music, whatever. It's everywhere. And we're going to release each song as a single. We decided, like the whole record label thing, we don't need a record label. They help. They do help.
Love this idea.
We've been talking to a lot of people in the same boat. That's a great idea.
I have been preaching this.
Every song as a single and as a video. We want to shoot a video for every song too, whether it's a live action video or a story video or just some type of we did a one lyric video, which I'm not a big fan of lyric videos, but they're still cool to have here and there sprinkled in. So we want to release every song as a single and as a video. And then eventually in December 13th, the album will come out and people can choose to either buy the songs individually or they can buy it as a whole. And then we hope to have something booked for early 2020. Hopefully get back out to Europe again and hopefully do a U.S. run. We haven't done a U.S. tour in a few years. So we've got some stuff in the works. And I have a lot of friends in the bigger bands. I'm trying to work it so we can get on a good tour.
Yeah,
we've done a lot of DIY. Yeah, we've done a lot of DIY in the past. It's great. It's good to do. But I think we're at a point now where we need to be on some package tours because that's where you're going to get the fans. And you got to play in front of people and you want to sell merch. So you have to, play in front of crowds. No more playing in front of 5 guys in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Right.
Not 5 guys burgers, 5 guys, 5 actual guys.
Right.
I'll take the burgers.
I was saying playing in front of 5 guys burgers is not a bad idea, but.
Well, I'm actually vegetarian, but I'll eat chicken. I'll eat chicken. I'm a reformed vegetarian.
Okay.
I had to eat. I got tired of the soy and the tofu and the jackfruit, so I had to But I have high cholesterol and high blood pressure. And all this. I'm diabetic, so it's there's all this shit I have to do to change things. So I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But yeah, we're looking to get it on the road, whether it be the U.S., Mexico again, Europe again. We just want to keep pushing and keep moving forward. And we think this album is really good, and it's going to be something that people are going to like, and they're going to want to hear these songs live. And that's our next step.
All right. So now we're at my favorite part of the interview. Chris cringes usually at this part, but I've got some off-the-wall questions. You've got a sense of humor already, so we're going to just roll with them. And if you hate them, go tell me to F off, and we'll move on. But otherwise, so in no particular order, if you were a pizza delivery guy, how would you benefit from a pair of scissors?
From a pair of scissors? Mm-hmm.
I just watching.
I have a really messed up mind, so I'm thinking scissors. I'm thinking walking in to deliver pizza. Oh, come in. You walk in, 2 girls are scissoring. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, sorry. I'm fucking horrible. I'm sorry. I can't. Don't give me a microphone. I guess you could. You can. I don't know. Scissors and a pizza delivery guy.
I don't think you need to go any further. I mean, that's,
next question.
All right. So the next question is.
I can't get that picture out of my head now.
No, I'm stuck.
That sounds like the intro. That sounds like the intro to a bad porn. Ding dong, ding
come
dong.
on in.
And then the guy has a pair of scissors in his hand, and they're like, "We need the pizza, but we can't come to the door. Can you pick the lock?" So he uses the scissors to pick the lock. Then he walks in with the pizza, and he's like,
I got your extra thick pepperoni pizza here."
Yeah.
Bring it here.
We're offending everybody on this episode. I love it.
Did you bring the breadsticks?
I bought the pepperoni stick.
So since we've already gone down this route, I'm going to ask a question that's not in my regular repertoire, but are you familiar with urethral? Urethral. Are you familiar with urethral sounding?
Urethral sounding.
So let me just.
Is that a sound coming out of your urethra?
No, let me just back up for a second. This podcast was originally started to like get to know people and learn about bands and introduce bands to fans. Somehow we made a left turn somewhere, and I think it was at the Allegiant. We did an interview with Riley McShade from Allegiant, and it took a left turn, and he somehow a hard left. So urethral sounding, don't Google it unless you want to wipe your drive. But I guess dudes like sticking stuff down their pee holes, like objects. Is that the best way to?
I think I have heard of that somewhere before, and I was just like, I don't want to hear about this ever again. And thanks.
And it's 2019, and I'm still offended.
How do you do that?
I try and sneak it into every episode as long as you've got a sense of humor. So
whenever he brings it up, I get this feeling like in the area, and my whole body is like, oh, it's
all
like
right, last one.
The turtle head goes away. Fuck.
What are your thoughts on garden gnomes?
Garden gnomes. And actually, I was actually going to buy some, right? Because we recently did our garden. Well, my wife and daughters did the garden. And they wanted to get some garden stuff, so I was going to have them put in some. Right here's a little garden area.
Okay,
look at that.
Some garden gnomes, but I wanted the little zombie ones. Have you seen those ones?
No,
I have.
They're like gnomes, but they're like just like zombies crawling out of the dirt. But they wouldn't go for it. So.
Nice.
So I'm not against it. I mean, I'm not like a big gnome fan, but I mean,
you're okay with it.
I'm okay with it. Yeah. This is Henry with the band Sangre, and you're listening to our song Death March right here on Brutally Delicious.
surely for me and mine. This is where I draw the line.
Cool.
Awesome.
And
You have a great day.
Go finish wiping and have a good day.
Yeah, you can wash your hands. Whatever.
Yeah, I should take a second check on that.
Right. Be well, my
Hey,
friend.
guys, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Take care.
cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Take care.
That was a good one, too.
Oh my god. My god, that went right off the rails as soon as he answered the call.
I love it. That's the kind of stuff I like. Well, let's end this. I got to go study for my test, and then tomorrow we'll meet up at, 10 to 3 for Tom Kiefer?
You got it.
All right, man. Thanks for listening. Go check out Sangre, and I guess if you made it this far and you're still listening, thanks again, and keep it metal.
Always metal. Talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Next week.